Hey everybody, what's up? It's NBF062966 here coming at you. My name is Norm and I've been away for a while, but I've been watching everyone's videos and still love all the stuff that's going on out here in YouTube, and just wanted to do another video. I've really gotten into watching a lot of them the past week, and I love that response or the thread that Mr. Hoffame had out about showing off soul records. That's my first love in music, and I've had a blast watching what everyone owns, and it's all cool, it's all good. I'm going to start off here by doing a little tribute, R.I.P., rest in peace, to Tina Marie. And she passed away on December 26, 2010 from natural causes. And the world, in my opinion, and this is no disrespect to everybody that loves Aretha Franklin and that, but to me this lady here is the best soul singer, R&B singer of all time. She's a 4'11" little dynamo from white girl from Venice, California, who could really sing. If you listen to Ooh La La, Dear Lover, Love Me Down Easy, and jams like Square Biz, and you know, she's, I guess, best known for her 1984 hit Lover Girl. She can just wail and belt them out, and the world's gonna really miss her. You know, other than being the best, in my opinion, she's probably my favorite performer of all time. I went with her through high school, through college, through being, you know, getting into adulthood, my parents passing away. She's been with me every step of the way in my life in terms of her music, and I'm really, really gonna miss her. Speaking of Tina, here's her former protege, and that is Rick James and his 1985 release called Glow. This is a really, really good record. He actually approached Motown Records around this time because he wanted to do a rock record. Motown basically told him where to go. They didn't want any part of that. But he put on a couple tracks on here that are more rock, Can't Stop and Rock and Roll Control. But make no doubt about it, this is a really, really good R&B, soul, funk record. He's got probably some of his best jams on here. It really didn't commercially do well. Critics loved it. I actually think it's probably his finest record. It's never seen the light of day on CD yet, but it's something I think everybody should check out. It's really cool. Speaking of Rick James, here's a record of his. It's a band he's in, and they're called The Great White Cane. Their self-titled record from 1972, and that's Rick James on the cover right there. Sorry, he's right here. This album, it's him all over. He arranges it, he plays on it, he sings. You know, he basically did everything but produce it. Probably did that too, but he's not credited for it. It took me a few listens to get this album, but once I got it, I really got it. And he you know, it's just total Rick James, but it's 70s rock, it's jazz, it's funk, it's soul, it's folky. You know, there's a lot of mixture of different things on there, and it's a good record that everybody check out, The Great White Cane. I'm a big fan of 70s black exploitation films as well as their soundtracks, and here's one from 1973, and it's the album Cleopatra Jones. It was a movie. It's actually quite well. Starred Tamara Dobson and Bernie Casey. It features the music of Millie Jackson and Joe Simon, and Hurt So Good, which is a classic soul tune by Millie Jackson's on here. And it's not as straightforward in your face as things like Shaft and Superbad. It's really mellowed out. It's a mellow album. It's pretty good. I suggest everybody check it out. Next up is 1977's Short Eyes soundtrack. Curtis Mayfield wrote it and performed it, and it's not as celebrated as Superfly, but it's probably got one of his best funk tracks ever called Doo Doo Wop Is Strong in here. And there's another track called Back Against the Wall, which is just a smooth, tight funk track, and Curtis was known for his guitar playing, and some of it reminds me of Jimmy a little bit. I suggest people check this out in 1977 Short Eyes. Up now is I'm a bit of a James Brown fan. I'm not a fanatic, but I like a lot of his, you know, Fred Wesley, and these of course are the JBs, which were his backing group. And this is their 1972 release, Food for Thought. It features the classic track Pass the Peas. It's got Maceo, it's got everybody on here. It's a really, really tight funk record, and I recommend everybody check this out. Food for Thought by the JBs. Next up is a group from Portland, Oregon. They're called Pleasure, and the album is called Accept No Substitutes. These guys had a unique career, to say the least. They put out really, really, really good records, but they never really charted any singles. And most people who are into soul, funk, R&B, that type of thing, really, really like these guys, but they never really got any due. They were known for being a really, really good live band that played around, I guess, the West Coast and Seattle, Portland. Apparently, I know some people who saw them in Vancouver, said they were really good. This album here, Accept No Substitutes, had the original version of Let's Dance, which was later covered by the West Street Mob in 1981. It's a really, really good record. Next up is 1976 Leon Ware's Musical Massage. Leon Ware actually recorded the entire I Want You record, which was made famous by Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye actually heard it and said he wanted to record it himself, and he got what he wanted, so Marvin Gaye recorded the I Want You record. So then he went in the studio and recorded this, and this is a masterpiece. It's got Minnie Riperton, Marvin Gaye's on here, and this is just a wonderful record. It's a beautiful record. I can't say enough about it, and I think everybody should check it out. 1976 Leon Ware, Musical Massage. Next up, this is a really, really rare record here, and I love the cover of this. This is by a group called the Brockingtons. It's from 1971, and it's a funk and soul record. Julius Brockington, who later became famous in the gospel field, he basically has his hands all over this. It's a funk record, it's a soul record, it's got some good fast stuff, it's got some slow stuff. It's really, really good. And there's a cover of Natural Woman made famous by Aretha Franklin that's on here. Everybody needs to hear it. Next up is one of my favorite groups of all time in the funk and R&B area, and it's the Bar-Kays, and it's called Light of Life. It's from 1978, and this is not one of their well-known records. They left Stax Records around the same time, and this was their first record for, I believe it's on the MCR label. And it's produced by Alan Jones, and it's got some really, really great funk tracks like Get Up and Do It and Give It Up. But it's also got a song called Shine and Are You Being Real, which became staples on black radio at that time too. So it's a really, really good record, and if you want to check the Bar-Kays out, this is one I would start with because I really like this. Next up, from 1985, is AC by André Cymone. And for those people who don't know who André Cymone is, he actually started in Prince's group before The Revolution came out. And this album here probably has one of Prince's greatest contributions to music, which is a song called The Dance Electric. Prince wrote and produced it for André Cymone, and he sings backup on it with Wendy and Lisa, and it's an outstanding record. I can't say enough about it. André Cymone is also famous because he was married to Jody Watley, and all of her popular stuff on her first 3 records were produced by him. And apparently he messed around on her, which I can't figure out, because if you have her, why would you want to fool around? Anyways, André Cymone. Next up is a group I think that Mr. Haffame loves, and it's the SOS Band. And this is my favorite album. It's from 1982, and it's called SOS Band 3. This record here is not one of their most popular, and it's predated to the On the Rise and Just the Way You Like It and The Finest. But it's got 2 of their best songs on it, which are High Hopes and Groovin' That's What We're Doing. It was produced by Leon Foster Silvers III, and like I said, it's a really, really good record. The SOS Band, it's really, really tight 80s funk and R&B. Next up is a record by, I think Teacher got me back into these guys on one of his videos. He was playing, I think, their first record. This is 1972's Taste of Sin. This was produced by Donny Hathaway, who's, one of the greatest R&B gods of all time. And this record here is really, really tight. Their first few records were really, really guitar-oriented. This one here is very, very keyboard and horn-oriented. And Lydia Pence, to me, is one of the best soul singers of all time. Yet again, another tiny little white girl who can really belt it out. So I recommend people check out Cold Blood. Next up here, and I might get skewered for this, but from 1971, this is Stoney and Meatloaf. And yes, it's the Meatloaf famous from 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad and Paradise by the Dashboard Light, etc. He recorded an album with Stoney, and it's from 1971, and it's a really, really good R&B record. It's very, very soulful, and you've never heard Meatloaf sing like this before in his life. And this girl on this record too is really, really cool. What you see is what you get is probably the best track on here, and it's just a screaming soul song. It's really, really good, so I recommend people check it out. This record is kind of rare. It took me a long time to find this, and I paid like 50 bucks for it, so it's well worth it, though. I really, really enjoy it, and that's Stoney and Meatloaf on the Rare Earth label, 1971. Up next is a group called Ozone, and this album here is called Send It. It's from 1981. And Tina Marie, who we've already talked about, produced side one of this record, and it contains the classic tracks Jiggalette and Keep On Dancing. And if you like 80s funk and R&B, this is one of the greatest albums to start with, because this is a masterpiece. Very, very underrated. Didn't really get a lot of play at the time. Jiggalette was, you know, a modest hit, but this album, you know, in 2011 sounds amazing. So check it out, y'all. And last up here is Full Force. It's their debut album from 1985. It contains the answer record to Lisa Lisa's I Wonder If I Take You Home, and the song's called Girl If You Take Me Home. It's also got Alice, I Want You Just For Me, and Unselfish Lover, which to me is their best song of all time. To me, if you're going to get into Full Force, this is the record to start. It's great 80s soul R&B. You know, they're more known for producing, and they were also in quite a few movies like House Party and etc., that stuff back in the day. Anyways, thanks for watching. I've had a blast doing this. I'm hopefully going to keep some more videos coming. I'm really, really glad a lot of people have shown off their soul records in the last while on that thread, like I said, that Mr. Hofame had out, and I've learned a lot of music from a lot of people. Dan, you've got me into Boris, fellow Canadian there, from I think he's from Calgary. And thanks a lot, guys, and I've really enjoyed being part of this community, and I'm glad to be back, and have a great day. Peace.